Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of In the Kitchen. I am here, as always, with Taylor.
Hi.
And I'm Alonsio, and we are talking more basketball today. Some teams got clinched into the playoffs last week, specifically the Spurs, Pelicans, and Thunder. We had our second F1 race of the season this past weekend. It was a great one, let me tell you right now.
Big stuff.
Sebastian Vettel, he is an amazing driver. I almost wanted to root for him, but I'm sticking with my boy Hamilton and my underdog Alonso. But here we go. Let's get started.
Yeah. So hit us off on the Spurs.
I'll hit you off on the NBA. Excuse me. In the NBA right now, we don't know. Tonight's the last game of for pretty much I think all the teams. The Spurs is the last team, so the NBA is about to end, and I've been watching the NBA religiously since 2010, since LeBron joined Miami. I'm a LeBron fan. Yes, I root for LeBron, but I'm a Spurs diehard fan. But yes, I've been watching religiously since 2010, and since then I have not seen it really come down to the wire like this to the last game. Since that time, it's what I'm talking about is the seeding, guys. We don't know who's gonna be 4th through 8th right now. We got the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves fighting for a number 8 spot. Both at I think 47 wins. Minnesota's trying to break a 14-year curse. They haven't, I'm not cursed. 14-year playoff drought. They haven't been to the playoffs since 2004. They've had a Kevin Love, they've had a Kevin Garnett, but they just can't make playoffs. And then we have the Denver Nuggets here trying to, make some noise since they've had CP3 and Carmelo Anthony on the squad. I'm sorry, that was in Denver, that was in New Orleans. Oh no, Carmelo was in Denver. Sorry. And then we have San Antonio over here, battling it out with the Pelicans. And it's just a great all-around thing. But let me tell you one thing. One team that people I feel have slept on all year, mainly because they are young and because they are unexperienced, and mainly because of the injuries the team has had, lack of games teams have played. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. What? And that team is the Philadelphia 76ers. Ben Simmons, the last, of course, 15 games, has had a phenomenal run. He's had a phenomenal season. I think it did well for him sitting out the first year. It is NBA, and just sitting back and kind of watching how everything went, because it really shows how he's ready for the season. The team's literally turning it on right before the playoffs. Yeah. It's right when you need it. You need all cylinders clicking, but be careful because there's still about another month and a half. You want to get to the finals, which I do think they will get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Might be the only threat to the King in the East, to the Prince, as they call themselves on Instagram. I follow Ben Simmons.
Celtics?
No. I followed Ben Simmons and LeBron James on Instagram, and when the last time they played, that it went down the wire, and Ben Simmons and the 76ers pulled out against LeBron, and after that they posted on Instagram, Fresh Prince, and the King, and the King, the new Prince or the Prince, something like that. They posted, and I just thought, I was like, okay, well, he called himself the Prince. LeBron's got him Prince. I guess he's the Prince. And so the Prince here, he's making moves without Joel Embiid, by the way. So imagine if they get Joel Embiid back in, this team's gonna be scary. There's gonna be, I don't see the Raptors stopping them. I don't see the Celtics stopping them, especially without Kyrie. And the Cavaliers might be the only ones standing in the way. The only reason I say that is because of a guy named LeBron James.
LeBron James is a powerhouse in the freaking playoffs, like you said. And from what you've told me, and I mean, like you said, man, the 76ers, good God. Like, we're watching that game right now against Milwaukee, and they are like...
They're going for the 16th win.
It's like butchering meat, man. Yeah, and they're on a 15-win win streak right now. Like,
they're up by
good
27
Lord.
right now in the middle of the second.
Yeah, like it's not even a game. Like, did Milwaukee not even want to show up?
I think Milwaukee's honestly trying to lose this game, so they can get a different seeding, so they can avoid LeBron James in the playoffs in the first round.
You think so?
Because
they've already
if
got
Milwaukee
a playoff,
wins this game, I think they get the fifth seed, and they face LeBron as the fourth seed, I believe.
Ooh, yeah.
So that's tricky there. But what happens there? And if they lose, they get the sixth seed, I believe. And that means they'll face the 76ers, these guys, in the first round.
Nice.
It's crazy, but we'll see what happens after this week. It's exciting stuff. Who do you think gets out of the first round in the West?
In the West, who is?
Who do you think for sure out of the 8 teams? Well, out of the 7 teams that are for sure in right now, which is Golden State, Rockets, Portland, Utah Jazz, Spurs, OKC, and there's one more team.
I definitely can say, of course, probably Golden State and the Rockets.
For sure.
Like, those teams are good enough to pass the first round easy.
No, there's 2 more teams that can.
I want the Spurs. Like, of course, same as you know.
Hey, but do you think they'll get past though?
I don't know. It's going to be a little bit of a tough battle for them, for sure.
In the first round, I think it'll be a tough battle for everybody in the West.
Yeah.
The seedings are so close. The only ones you can really declare is, you can pretty much predict and guess that it's going to be Golden State and the Rockets are going to get past the first round, but everything else is up in the air.
Yeah, it's up in the air. Like, even like the Pelicans, they're up over the Spurs right now, but those guys have been kind of on an up streak, same as the Spurs these last handful of games too. So this matchup tonight is anybody's game, let alone who those guys play in the first round in the playoffs. So I'm gonna go with Spurs. So Golden State, the Rockets, the Spurs, and then I'm gonna go a little bit more of a heavier underdog and maybe go say OKC.
OKC, I can see that. I can definitely see those 4 teams getting past.
In the East, I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the East.
Well, the East,
because I know the Raptors are up there. I know the Celtics are up there.
I don't see the first 4 seeds losing in the first round, which would be the Raptors. So they get home court. So the first 4 seeds will not play in the first round.
Really?
The top 4 seeds, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Will not play in the first round. So I definitely see the Raptors getting past the first round. Definitely see the Celtics getting past the first round. Definitely see the 76ers getting past the first round. And in fourth place right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I see them getting past the first round as well. I mean, that's going to be a great Eastern semifinals over there. It's going to be...
And there's no reason LeBron.
With those 4 teams, it's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be something like the Raptors versus Cleveland, and something like Celtics versus 76ers. It's gonna be great. I'm excited for the first time as well. I'm excited for the East. They're competing. Mm-hmm. They're competitive, guys.
Yeah,
they're competing. Like I've never seen the Eastern and Western conferences. I've been watching basketball be this close. Western Conference is still a little better. Yeah. But I've never seen the Eastern Conference and Western Conference be this close.
Well, the Celtics have been, pretty competitive for a couple of years now. From what you've told me and from what I've kind of, passerby stuff on basketball from before I got into it. And the 76ers are just dominating these last, they're on the verge of a 16-win game. Like, come on.
Going into the playoffs, I'm excited if I'm a 76ers fan.
So you got those 2 teams going right there. And then the Raptors have been, apparently, by stats and from what I've seen on scores, been doing great. And then of course, like you said, LeBron, you can't not count LeBron out in the finals.
He's never lost
the playoffs.
Every time LeBron made the playoffs, which has been every year, I think, since he's came in. Yeah. He's never lost in the first round.
Yeah.
So he's undefeated in the first round. He's lost games in the first round, but never lost the first round series. So I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. I think they'll be fine too. So I'm gonna kind of transition over to Formula One now, and I just want to say, like, on just an overall, like, blanket note, just wow. Like, this past weekend of racing now, mind you, we DVR'd the race just like we did the last time. Times here in the US are weird.
I cheated. I saw it live.
Part of it on Sunday. Because this one was actually at a reasonable time, but still 10 o'clock in the morning.
Sunday morning.
Sunday
still
morning.
Waking up. But
So,
I mean, I still caught it. I was waking up. I turned on Sea of Thieves, and I started watching it. But.
So but I want to first off, I want to congratulate you, ESPN. Oh, you answered my prayers from last week. Like, you recovered. Right? The backlash was so bad that they went a no commercial interruption for that. I have never seen that on an F1 race. That was a marvel to behold. Like, crap.
It was Sunday morning when people were out at church. Not that many people.
I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they swung that one. But congrats, ESPN, because you basically just become a slumdog millionaire after that first botching that you did. So I want to talk about, with such an amazing race, I'm sure y'all want to kind of hear what kind of happened. I'm gonna save the best for last and start with a couple of underdog teams that weren't underdogs this race, because Toro Rosso, basically the Red Bull B team. Yeah. My God, guys. Like, wow. Talk about coming from out of nowhere. Your guy Pierre Gasly, man, he gets fourth place. Fourth place. And Toro Rosso usually, especially last year, they set, middle of the pack, late, low middle to basically, just on those basically the last 10,
Yeah, barely get any points.
Barely get any points, that sort of thing. But
maybe they get 2 points.
Fourth place, that's a huge score for them. And that was a career high for Pierre Gasly and for the Toro Rosso team as a whole. And then not to mention, because they're Honda-powered cars, the botchery that Honda has had with McLaren last year and the 2 years before that, with the 3 years that McLaren have been with Honda, all that debauchery, they get a fourth freaking win, a fourth place spot with Toro Rosso. Better than they ever did with McLaren in 3 years. Like, holy crap. That's got to be a big morale boost.
I saw it. They were really happy. It looked like they had won the whole thing, I swear.
Yeah. Like, they were popping champagne and everything. And I'm like, your dude's not even on the stage. Like, congrats, man. You're not even on the podium.
But they're celebrating.
Haas. There's another team. So another underdog that is... did really well in the race. They got a Magnussen, I believe. Yeah, he kept up and drove into fifth. And so he scored a fifth, maintaining kind of the position area that they had the race before, even though that debauchery was sad to watch. However, his teammate kind of fell through and fell in the riffraff. His teammate Grosjean got 13th, which is kind of sad, considering how that's below the point line. And that's kind of sad when your partner held strong. Haas is also, apparently, did not know this until earlier this morning when I was just double checking some headlines. A little bit of rumor mill going around in the Haas and McLaren town. Because apparently Haas is rumored to be attempting to try to lure your man Fernando Alonso for the 2019 season.
Where did you read this again?
I read this article on the F1 site. So, but they did stipulate that it was rumored. So this is not necessarily complete fact. But they're apparently allegedly trying to lure Mr. Alonso away from McLaren for the 2019 season.
What do they get out of gossip here?
I don't know. I don't know.
Are they just trying to get into Alonso's head, or?
I don't know. Maybe it's a ruse to try to maybe spark some heads up or something. I don't know. But apparently, Alonso has come out and said, "I'm open to the idea of switching over to the American team."
So he spoke on this?
Apparently so, yeah. He apparently said on social media that he was open to the idea.
I need to follow that guy.
Yeah.
So
but it kind of makes sense because Alonso also likes to participate in the Indy 500 and some Daytona stuff. So if he moves to America, it kind of makes sense. So maybe that might be kind of something that he's thinking on. Now, on to this breaks my heart. This is one of the ones that breaks my heart. Red Bull. Man, that's a sad race to watch for y'all.
In the first 5 laps, guys.
Ricardo was running 4th when his car just shut down. Just his transmission stopped friggin' changing gears and stuff and out. Like, damn. And then Max Verstappen
at
later.
the same time, he had pushed out.
He had a little love tap from Mr. Lewis Hamilton.
Oh man!
During I think it was an overtake or whatnot. It was kind of early on in the race.
Yeah, he tried to take over Hamilton, and he hit Hamilton's front tire, and that's what popped it.
No, it was yeah, something like that. He hit his rear tire. Hamilton bumped into his into Max's rear tire, flattened it. He had to limp to the pit, but because him having to make a whole lap around the course and to try to not damage the car any further, that led to some transmission issues as well, and
he fell out shortly after in the 5th lap.
He didn't even come out of the pit.
Oh, he didn't come. Oh, that's right. He couldn't come out of the pit.
He couldn't come out of the pit. So that was sad. That was really sad.
Red Bull was gone, guys.
Red Bull was gone. Mercedes now. Onto Mercedes. Onto some high points.
Still in second overall, though.
Still in second. And I'll get to the points and placings in a little bit. But Lewis Hamilton, man, it's a little rough to watch, bro. Just from being a fan standpoint, because at one time he was in 1st for a few laps.
When Vettel went to the pit?
Yeah, when Vettel went to the pit, there was a lot of shuffling around. You fought your way admirably up from 9th on the starting grid.
That was amazing.
But to ultimately end in 3rd was a little bit of a sounding
That
phrase.
was very disappointing. No, what was the most disappointment to me was his teammate Bottas.
Oh, yeah, and
he
Bottas.
Watched it, dude, at the very end. How do you catch up? You turn on your DRS. You're right there. All you gotta do is just get in front of him and you win the race.
I know.
And he botched it.
He had a
Bottas couldn't handle it.
Apparently, for the article that I had stated here, he had a 5 seconds in 5 laps and was on his tail, man. Just
he closed in 5 seconds.
Well, he closed 5 seconds of 5 laps, so he closed a gap of 5 seconds in 5 laps.
Remember when we were talking about, man, he's got to close a second a lap.
And I know, and he was on Sebastian Vettel's booty, like, big time.
He was rubbing it, baby.
Big time, and he couldn't get it done. He finished 2nd, which was good. That gave Mercedes a 2nd and a 3rd place to get back up, in the running.
Real quick, I'm sorry, but guys, the Philadelphia 76ers just scored 80 points in the first half.
Jesus Christ almighty, man. That's stupid.
80 points in the first half.
God. The Bucks aren't even, they're not even on the court, man.
What are the Bucks doing? Go ahead.
Talking about brutality. Let's get on a little bit of a brutality level, because there's some of that going on too from this weekend. Let's talk about Ferrari. And not just Sebastian Vettel's great driving and great win.
We know
honestly.
that.
It was a great win.
We know that's there.
But the talk of the town is his partner, Mr. Kimi Räikkönen. And bad news. So, to put it lightly, after the scenario was done, Team Ferrari got fined €50,000 for this. And what happened was...
That's euro, guys.
Euro. So, that's a lot more in American money. He jumped the pit a little too quickly during a pit stop.
And what do you do, Taylor?
He ran his pit team member over and broke his leg in two. Snapped it clean like a chicken bone.
I saw that live and I jumped off my seat. Not an excitement in one of those like, ooh.
Broke his shin bone and his fibula, just like a twig. And on top of running over his own guy, they didn't even get all of the tires changed. So he was not allowed to enter the race with 2 different compounds of tires on the car.
He had 3 red and 1 yellow when he was trying to leave.
Yeah. I did, however, look at a video online, and it's also when I saw some close-ups, and yeah, Räikkönen did jump the gun a tad, but so did the pit crew, because I noticed in the high-speed close-up, the front jackman let the car down too soon. And that caused Räikkönen to want to jump the pit and then run his teammate over before they could get the rear wheel changed. So it was a combination of both.
When you're a driver, though, if you don't see a green light, like...
Well, there is no green lights or anything in the pit.
No, isn't there like a little light up there?
I think there's a garage open light for like ready or whatnot when they're coming in, but I don't know. I'll have to look at that.
We gotta look at that.
But I don't think so. And then outside of that, also Ferrari was fined €5,000 during the free practice on, I believe, Friday or Saturday, one of the two. And they got €5,000 fine for a similar incident. Nobody was injured, but it was a similar malfunction in the pit. So that has now prompted the FIA, the governing body for Formula One, to launch an investigation not only into Ferrari, but also into drill guns and pit crews as a whole, because this is now, after the botch incident with Haas in Australia, McLaren had wheel problems in Barcelona during preseason testing. Max Verstappen suffered, I believe, from the improper laced wheel stuff in Australia as well. Just a lot of, again, cursed object wheels in freaking Formula One. And now it's causing the FIA to look into it. And I think they should. And I think more people should be aware of what's going on.
Okay, so I heard a stat whenever Sebastian Vettel, they were interviewing him, his victory interview, and I forget who was interviewing him. He told him the last time that somebody won 2 races, the first 2 races, and didn't win the whole championship was back in the 70s.
Yeah, I saw that article.
Yeah, and his response was, well, there was a lot less races back then, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, but basically, I don't know. So, what do you think, man? You think he's in good? Obviously, he's in good position after getting back-to-back first places. He's got 50 points. He's literally carrying the team after his boy fell out last match. You think Mercedes can pass him?
I think Mercedes is going to continue to be competitive, and will overtake them at some point. Whether they maintain that overtake, I hope, sure. But the facts are the facts, and Sebastian Vettel
is a better driver.
I was gonna say an amazing driver.
I think so far he's shown that he's the better driver.
And the Ferrari team is an amazing race team.
This guy,
and
in the first
the
race,
same can be said for Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton and Anthony Bottas and their teams.
But look at Sebastian Vettel. In the first race, he goes to the pit, comes out, and still maintains first. That's how far ahead he was. And then Hamilton caught up right to his tail in the first race.
True.
Now, in the second race, he goes to the pit, loses the first 2 spots. And guess what? He finishes first. Again.
Here's a stat. Here's an interesting stat, though. Is in 2017, the first half of the season was dominated by Sebastian Vettel. And then come the second and the midpoint of the season, completely dominated and completely overtaken by Lewis Hamilton the last half of the season. So it's too early to tell, but we could also be looking at a similar formula.
Who won last year?
Lewis Hamilton. Then he got his 4th world championship last year, and that puts
Vettel
Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton at tie, because Sebastian Vettel won his 4th in a 2016. Pretty sure.
Well, he's looking for vengeance because.
Those guys are. Those guys are in a heated fight. Both teams are in basically a war.
Vettel has manhandled the entire Mercedes team on his own. I just don't see him letting go of the gas.
Oh no! And I'm going to point out that Hamilton showed a little bit of his nastier colors this past race because he played dirty. He played very dirty, knocking out Max Verstappen like that. That was dirty. I saw that. I knew you couldn't see him back there, but you flipped your butt that direction.
Another thing that I saw is...
But he had an amazing 3-car freaking takeover.
Oh, that one takeover?
Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, well, another thing about Mercedes, you're talking about the dirty side. I did see their pit crew come out, and the Ferrari car had to go around them to get into his pit. Instead of and then they go back inside. No, you told me at the time, it's like, oh, it's the driver saying he's coming in, and then he's saying he's not. And I'm just like, no, dude, that looks fishy. That looks fishy. Like, why do you come out? Why do you come out when the driver's next to you is coming? You see what I'm saying? And
Mercedes has a history of playing dirty. So
we'll see what happens. Well, they got the perfect driver for it because Hamilton came up. I don't know how he came from 9 to 30. You're a great driver.
He's a great driver, but he also played a little dirty. So as it stands, to just kind of put a pin note and just kind of give everybody a little bit of the standings after the first 2 races. Sebastian Vettel has 50 points. Hamilton has 33. Followed by Bottas with 22. Your boy Alonso has 16.
My underdog.
And then the Renault, core Renault, Hulkenberg, he has 15. So only a 1 point difference there between
Red Bull still in this?
5 and 6. No, Renault.
I'm sorry, I saw Renault. Okay.
I might have said Red Bull. So
no, I
Renault.
did.
And so there's only a 1 point difference between 5th and 6th and Alonso. And Alonso's not far behind Bottas. Considering he's been riding the middle of the pack here lately.
Hamilton has had 3rd. He improved his 2nd. You need your first win if you want to stay competitive. Because if you let Sebastian Vettel get a 3rd win, you are setting a gap that you do not want. But we'll see. Like you said, things can possibly turn around.
And in the constructor and the team championship, Ferrari's at 65 points total.
Still.
Mercedes is 55. That's only a 10-point difference. There's 19 races to go. McLaren Renault now with 22. So they're not like doing horrible.
Well, if they don't
considering
get a first,
that Red Bull is 20 behind them, and then the core Renault team is behind them with 15. So there's once you get past basically the 1st and 2nd, as far as the team scores, there's a big gap.
No, when it comes to points, I kind of relate it to the amount of games you know that a team has in the NBA because there's so many points, there's so many games. So all I know is you don't want to be the team that falls behind early on.
No.
You just don't, especially when the same team keeps getting top 4.
Yeah.
You know, so these guys, yeah, it's great they got 22 points and stuff, but you need to step it up. They need a top 4 ASAP.
Yeah, McLaren needs to kind of get their. I don't know. I'm still got high hopes for McLaren, but I'm just glad like Haas has been keeping up, like an underdog, man. And like that's all I have to say is yesterday's race was both like the triumph of the gods and the story of the underdogs. You know,
right.
Like it was both simultaneously great.
It was a great stuff.
So we'll leave y'all there. We'll see you next time. Be sure to like, follow, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @1n_th3_kitchen.
And our Facebook is Red Twin Entertainment.
Red Twin Entertainment. So we'll see y'all next time. Bye.